Okay, everybody, I am absolutely thrilled today because I am joined by Therica Wilson-Read, aka Sabrina in The Witcher, and season 2 is out on Netflix now. Therica, how you doing today?
I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, I've just finished watching it twice, so I'm really excited for everyone to see it. I think this season, I mean, the first season was good, and this season is even better. So I'm so excited for everyone to see it.
Yeah, it's an awesome just thrill ride this season, and it's exciting to see you back in it. But what I'm wondering is, how did you originally land the part of Sabrina?
Um, God, it really was like a dream come true. I'm not gonna lie. So I had played the games before, way back when, and not been very good at them, and sort of forgotten about them. And I was doing all these cast and direct workshops and just sort of trying to make it as an actress. And Faye Timby, who was part of Sophie Holland's casting department, she saw me and she recommended me to Sophie for the part of Sabrina. So I got these sides come through and I had no idea it was for Sabrina. And I was so excited. And I bought all the books and I was reading them, trying to find this mysterious character. And then I did this self-tape and I went in, I met Sophie Holland, and that team is just the nicest. They're just a brilliant team to work with. They make you feel so comfortable. And then sort of 2 days later, I got the part of Sabrina and my life sort of massively changed. Yeah. So it really was.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's cool that you read the books and played the games and like can understand the significance of Sabrina. And like from my perspective, knowing more about the games, like how awesome of a part she has in Witcher 2.
Yeah.
So do you game at all in general, or is it kind of just The Witcher you kind of played?
So I do try and game. I'm not the best at all, but I do really enjoy it. And with Witcher, I obviously tried gaming before. And I think it was just maybe a bit too complicated when I first started. But I've recently got into it again. So I've got my Nintendo Switch and
Oh,
I'm currently doing
nice.
quests. I'm currently on the Family Matters quest and I'm trying to kill a botchling. I'm finding
Oh.
it very hard. Um, but I think it's just so important having the books and having the games. And you've obviously got fans of the books and fans of the games. And as a character within that universe, it's just so interesting, kind of learning everything you can and knowing the backstories of all the different characters and knowing all the beasts that you may or may not run into. And you get all these tidbits just from reading and from playing those games. And so yeah, so I'm trying to get way back into it and trying to get better. I'm definitely not an expert in any kind of gaming capacity, but I do try my best.
Look, you sound like an expert to me. That's really cool and exciting to hear that you're into the games. And when it feels a lot like the games to me was even in the season 1 Battle of Sedan Hill. You got to do your character this like really cool archery. Did you
Yeah.
have to train at all for that?
So I was so excited about being on this set and playing this part that I remember Lauren is brilliant as a showrunner and she makes time for everyone. And she was on set nearly as much as she could, basically every single time she could, she was on set. And I went up to her and I was like, I'm so excited about this part. I'm so excited about Sabrina. Do you mind if I send you an email with all my thoughts and we have a talk? And she was like, 100% yes. So I sent her this email kind of saying everything that I'd learned, was that kind of what she saw of the character, and asking what she saw in terms of the journey of Sabrina. And she mentioned that Sabrina was into archery and that was something they were going to maybe explore in the show. And so I immediately went home, and I wasn't asked to, I went home and booked archery lessons because I thought it was just so important for embodying the part of Sabrina. So I went home, I booked archery lessons. I do have to say I'm good when I'm in a gym and all the targets are stationary. It's a very different experience when you're at battle and you have to do everything very quickly. But yes, so it wasn't something that I necessarily needed to do, but I thought it was really important for the show and for the showrunners and for myself as Sabrina to be able to know how to do it.
Yeah, and that's awesome that you put in that effort for anything in your part. That's really cool and actually inspiring for actors and actresses listening to this. And what was really cool, just all in that moment in the season, is when there's this big moment when Yen and Sabrina fall from the tower, and you shared on your Instagram, which is like a glimpse behind the scenes, and you were suspended by this wire in the air. Talk to me about that. Was that like terrifying to do? It looks terrifying.
So I think both Anya and I were so invested in doing as much of the stunt as possible. So where I explode out the tower is not me, it's the stunt double. But in terms of us falling and landing, that was something we both wanted to do ourselves. And we had the most amazing, stunt team and amazing crew that allowed us to do it and kept us really safe. But it's kind of like going on a roller coaster. Like once you do it once, the first time's a bit scary, but once you do it once, you're like, okay, this is really fun. And also for me, it was my last time on set in season 1 as Sabrina. So I was rinsing it for all it was worth. I wanted to do as much as possible.
Yeah. And I mean, from my perspective, watching that scene, I was terrified that, some way, somehow we lost Sabrina and that was it. So were you as an actress worried at all that your character, maybe even if she didn't die, but wasn't going to be in season 2, did that ever like run through your head? And is there a time maybe you were confirmed to come back?
I think just being part of the Witcher family is in itself a blessing. And I'm, so proud of everyone. And I think that I wasn't necessarily sure. I don't think you're ever sure in one of those situations. You know that in this universe, anything could happen to any of the characters. So for me, I decided that I was going to do the most that I could for that season 1. And if I was in future seasons, then that would, it would just mean everything to me. But also you know that there's a particular storyline that they're going down, and it's important that they follow that storyline and push the storyline forward. And sometimes that means that you're included, and sometimes that means that you're not, but it's for the best of reasons.
Yeah, that's a really good pro answer too. I like that. And like, it's a good attitude to have. And it's interesting, you mentioned like how there's all these different journeys and things that can happen in this universe. Yeah. What I think it's exciting about you having the character of Sabrina is like, this is this big Netflix Witcher universe now. And we already see they had a cartoon and they're also doing a spin-off series. Does it excite you, the endless possibilities of where even like Sabrina could show up in any of these forms?
Oh my God, 100%. I mean, look, if I could play Sabrina until I was 100, I would, and I love the world. And I also love the cast and crew, and Lauren and Sophie Holland and everyone has done an incredible job of making it like a family. So whether you're on set for one day as a one scene player, or you're on set every single day, you walk on set and it feels like family, and it feels like you just have this extended amount of love. And even throughout COVID, they still managed to maintain that. So for me, whether I'm in future seasons, whether I'm in it a lot or whether I'm in it a bit, or whether something does happen to Sabrina, it's just been such a pleasure to continue in this family. And I think that every time I get to play her, even for a minute, it's a blessing, and I love it. I love her.
Yeah. Okay, so you love her. So interesting too. So like when you first observed the character and were making the character your own, did anything jump out to you on the page or from the games like that was like, oh, I see Therica there, like that you see yourself in Sabrina? Any parts of her?
I mean, I think that when you get a character, when you book a job, you probably recognize that there's probably aspects of yourself within that character. But she's ultra confident. She's ultra sexy. She's incredibly ambitious. She's got a lot of pride. I mean, she's the most powerful and influential sorceress in the Northern Kingdom. Like she tells kings to shut up and they listen to her. And so I think that the elements of that which are inside me as Therica, you do have to amplify them and sort of create something more, because she just has, this incredible power. And I think that I think that also she has this frenemy relationship between her and Yennefer. And I think that's also something that's really fun to play with. And I think, the girls on set are really tight knit, and, I do class them as like my really good friends. And so I have that love for all those girls. And just having that little bit of banter is just, it's fun to add into it.
Yeah. And I think that's what's cool too. It looks like you guys are having fun on set and doing this shows, and it comes out in the performances, in particular yours. And, what's awesome too is that you make such an impact whenever you're on the screen that, I mean, you are so popular to this Witcher fan base that there is a Therica Wilson-Read Reddit. How does that make you feel even seeing that?
Gosh, I haven't seen it, but
it's there.
Oh, is it? Look, the fans make the show, and I think that when you sign up to a project like this, you've got some incredible fans of the books, incredible fans of the games, and I think that everyone feels really thankful for them. It's there's people watching the show, that means it continues, and I'm so thankful that people enjoy the character of Sabrina and like her and want her to continue in the shows. Like, that means the most to me, as an actor, that they do enjoy my performances. So I'm really thankful for that. And I've done a few Comic-Cons, and meeting people who love the show is one of the funnest parts of my job. I love talking to people and finding out what bits they loved, what bits they didn't like so much maybe, or what bits, what characters they love, and having that conversation with them is so exciting, and it's so fun. So yeah, I mean, I love all the fans, love them.
That's good to hear that you appreciate that. And like, it's interesting too, you have all this passion for it. And I'm wondering as well, like, you're also a writer, so you write, you act. You've written a short in 2016 called The Waiting Game. Can we expect more writing coming from you in the future? And what's the ultimate dream for Therica Wilson-Read at the end of the day? Like, what gets you going in the morning? Where do you want to see yourself, kind of thing?
I think, writing is always something that's, in the background. I love doing it. That was something for me that I was, just sort of understanding film. And so for me to write something and then put it on was really exciting, and I think taught me a lot about how things get filmed and how things get written and what translates and what doesn't. So that's always something that's in the background. It's probably not something that you're going to see from me in the next 6 months. But yeah, it's always there. And in terms of ultimate dreams, I think, if it wasn't concrete before, which it was, having COVID and not being able to act and not being able to do those things really showed me how much I love the job that I'm, lucky enough to be able to do. And being back on set for that first time was just made you feel so emotional that you were able to do that. So for me, it's concentrating on acting and kind of pushing that and seeing where that goes. And I think there's some really exciting things happening. So that's sort of what I'm concentrating on at the moment.
No, that's exciting. It's inspiring. And, it makes fans excited to see what you're going to do next, what we're going to see of Sabrina next. But everybody, obviously, if you want to see Therica Wilson-Read crush it as Sabrina, check out The Witcher season 2. It is on Netflix now. You can binge all of it. Therica, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to talk to you again in the future.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much.